You know, when you think of Google, you probably think search or maps, maybe YouTube, right? But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a totally different side of the company. A part that's way more secretive, an R&D lab that's literally building the future.
So what if the most radical, world-changing projects from Google aren't from Google at all? What if they're being cooked up in a place that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction? A place that operates completely differently than almost any other company on Earth?
Well, welcome to the Moonshot Factory. This is the place where Alphabet, Google's parent company, places its biggest, wildest bets on the kind of technologies that could completely redefine our world.
It's officially called X. It actually started as GoogleX way back in 2010. The whole idea came from founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They wanted to take some of the company's massive resources and pour them into solving huge, long-term problems. To build breakthrough tech that could make the world a radically better place.
But to build the future, you need a very specific mindset. At X, it's not about making a product just, say, 10% better. No way. It's about making it 10 times better. And they have a name for this. They call it a moonshot. Now, a moonshot isn't just some cool invention. It has to check a few boxes. It's got to tackle one of the world's most difficult, most stubborn problems. We're talking climate change, global internet access, or creating a totally sustainable food supply. Big stuff.
The guy who runs X is named AstroTeller, and get this, his official title is Captain of Moonshots. He describes it as chasing answers that just don't seem reasonable at first. It's really about taking on the things that sound impossible because that's where you find the potential to change absolutely everything.
And this is the magic number, 10x, a tenfold impact. Why? Because a goal that huge forces you to completely rethink a problem from scratch. You just can't get to 10x with small, safe improvements. You have to invent a radical new solution.
So how in the world do you build a place where this kind of thinking can actually happen? Well, inside the factory, they've created this really unique environment, one that looks nothing like your typical corporate R&D department.
Let's be real. Most companies just can't do this. They don't have the deep pockets, they can't attract the specific kind of talent, and most CEOs are not willing to wait 5 or 10 years for a payoff. Alphabet provides all three of those things, and that gives X the freedom to take enormous risks.
But okay, having the money is only part of the equation. The culture at X is where things get really, really interesting, especially when it comes to the one thing that most businesses try to avoid like the plague, failure.
See, at X, failure isn't just okay. It's a fundamental part of the process. If you find a fatal flaw in an idea early on, that's a cause for celebration. Seriously, it saves years of work and millions of dollars, and it frees up that brilliant team to go tackle the next huge problem.
This is going to blow your mind. They actually pay teams a bonus for killing their own projects. Just think about that for a second. It totally flips the incentives upside down. Instead of hiding problems to keep your project alive, you're rewarded for finding the kill shot and moving on. It fosters this incredible intellectual honesty.
This culture also changes who does the inventing. X thinks that whole lone genius has a eureka moment thing is basically a myth. Instead, they assemble these incredible teams of people from wildly different fields. You'll have rocket scientists arguing with marine biologists and artists brainstorming with AI experts. They believe the real breakthroughs happen right there in that chaotic, creative friction. Okay, so that's the philosophy. It's pretty wild. But what does this factory actually produce? Let's take a look at some of the moonshots that have made the leap from sci-fi idea to real-world project. So their track record is this fascinating mix of huge successes and really valuable failures. You've got Waymo, the self-driving car company, and Wing, the drone delivery service, both graduated to become their own independent companies. But then you also have something like Project Loon, which tried to deliver internet from giant balloons and was eventually shut down. That's the whole philosophy in action right there. And today, projects like Mineral are using AI and robotics to completely reinvent farming. And the list of ideas they've tinkered with is just incredible. I mean, creating fuel from seawater, powered pants to help people walk, smart contact lenses to measure glucose. It sounds like a list from a futuristic movie, but every single one of these was a real project they poured time and energy into. So when you put it all together, the 10x ambition, embracing failure, these sci-fi projects, you start to see a model for innovation that is both totally radical and almost unbelievably rare. Let's break down exactly why that is. Okay, on one side, you have how most big companies work. You've got bureaucracy, office politics, a deep fear of risk. And on the other side, you have the X way. It's all about radical, fast prototyping, and it has the speed and hunger of a startup, but, with the resources of Alphabet backing it up. At the end of the day, X isn't just a lab, it's an entire system that's been carefully designed to fight corporate inertia. It's a structured attempt to systematize breakthrough innovation itself, letting it go after those massive, world-changing ideas that other companies would just call impossible.
And that leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. X has been around for over a decade now. Its graduates are shaping entire industries. So, if this model for inventing the future is so powerful, why aren't there hundreds of moonshot factories out there? Why is this way of thinking still so incredibly rare?